5 on Your Sideline is sponsored by Side and Stricker Nobi John Deere.
What a year it's been. Welcome in to 5 on Your Sideline. I'm Ahmad Hicks. We've got a special show tonight for you and to get in that warm and fuzzy Christmas spirit.
That's right, Ahmad. I'm Corey Miller. Speaking of warm and fuzzy, let's really do this right.
Okay. Ooh.
Would you look at that? That seems about right for tonight, Christmas Eve, right?
Look at you getting all festive. Perfect. So tonight, we're going to look back on some of our most inspiring high school stories and best plays of 2021. Corey, take it away.
All right. It was another sports year impacted by COVID, but for some, it hit harder than others. COVID gave Highland High School basketball coach Daryl Cunningham the fight of his life and forced him to need a kidney transplant. Thanks to a cousin, he got one just a few weeks ago, and now this Christmas, Coach Cunningham's presence is a present in itself.
My Christmas present was from my cousin. My blessing from God is, I got a kidney, so I don't need anything for Christmas. My family is everything.
Can't forget about this guy, McKinley Reed. Born with spina bifida, Mac has a defect in his L4 and L5 vertebrae, paralyzing him from the knees down. But that hasn't stopped him from playing just about every sport. Reed also made some history in one of his favorites, wheelchair basketball, signing to play with Mizzou's wheelchair basketball team, which he knows will be a big challenge. Reed says he's never been a fan of taking the easy route, though.
I started off with challenger baseball, but I always knew that I didn't just want to stay in that area because it was a little bit more of everyone's a winner type stuff, which I know works for a lot of people, but for me, I knew that one day I wanted to compete, I wanted to win.
All right, my favorite story of the year, a lesson in kindness from Breeze Elementary School cross-country runner Anna Florzik. She saw an opponent struggling in a big race and encouraged her along the way to help her cross the finish line too. It didn't matter they were strangers on opposite teams. Anna's kindness helped both girls reach their goal, and she hopes her act reminds others of what should be a simple thing.
Just to be kind, and it's really not that hard. It takes minimal time, minimal effort, but it really does help people and it makes their day. And whenever people are kind to me, it definitely helps me become a better person and makes my day.
What an angel. What about DeSoto High School's J.C. Fowler breaking barriers on the mat? She wrestled and won against the boys and became the #1 ranked female high school wrestler in the country. She's not done yet, though, and has Olympic dreams to add to her resume in the future.
I said in a few years, it'll kind of sink in, when she's out of school and she realizes, on the college level, what she's completed in high school. But she doesn't like to be in the spotlight. She doesn't think that she's done anything great. She's just kind of like, that's just what I do.
One to watch there for sure. And here's another example of why sports are great. Joe Porcelli, he's a manager for Marquette football. Usually he passes out the water on game nights, but this season he got to score a touchdown decked out in full football gear. Team goes crazy. A senior manager, Porcelli was born with a genetic disorder called Apert syndrome, and his team gave him a moment he's never going to forget.
For years now, he's begged me for a carry.
Probably one of the greatest moments that has ever happened to me ever here.
He kind of made his own little path and he's just out there.
And coming up, we have the story of one young girl chasing her dreams while trying to follow in the footsteps of the GOAT, and another who took her idol's example off the field to heart. Growing up, a lot of kids nowadays look up to players like Tom Brady and LeBron James. There's nothing wrong with that, but now Simone Biles is blazing a trail many young girls are hoping to follow. 9-year-old Madison Carlisle never lacks energy.
She would be flipping in Target, doing handstands in Target.
Since she's been born, very busybody kid.
In need of a safe place to tumble, Madison and her family stumbled upon Jim Quarters Gymnastics in O'Fallon, Missouri.
For her, it was just in Rome doing what the Romans do. So if everybody was rolling left, she was rolling left. If everybody was flipping, she was flipping.
5 years later, Madison was no longer just flipping. After much practice, she began sticking her landing.
And when I started gymnastics, I thought it was just the sport for me.
Leaping from beginner to a fierce competition, Madison often wondered if she belonged in the sport. Looking around the gym, she rarely saw athletes who looked like her.
She's asked questions like, how come there aren't any other black gymnasts?
Emily Parsons, a former gymnast at Gym Quarters, says Madison's questions are all too familiar.
I mean, in club gymnastics, it's not very common.
In 2002, Parsons won nationals. Looking back 19 years ago, she says the sport lacked diversity.
I don't remember seeing a lot of other kids out on the floor that really looked like me, but I don't think in my little mind at that point that I even really noticed.
That was until Simone Biles came along.
Wow. When I saw Simone Biles, I thought she was a great gymnast, and she inspires me to be a great gymnast.
Forget just gymnastics. How many things in all of sports are more impressive to watch than that?
To see her reaction watching Simone was just amazing.
I think it's not just Simone, but Jordan Childs. There's a lot of NCAA gymnasts that are leading the way for women of color.
As a coach for more than 20 years, Jen Parker has really seen the evolution in gymnastics thanks to Biles.
Seeing a lot of gymnasts now believing in themselves.
She means a lot. I think she's just really inspired me.
10, hold.
And with work and determination, Madison, too, can get to where Biles is.
Madison is in the gym 16 hours a week.
I thought that I should put in a lot of work and work my hardest if I want to be like her and be a great gymnast.
So you want to be the next Simone Biles?
I want to be the first Madison Carlock, but Simone Biles is like my favorite gymnast ever.
Great story there, Ahmad. The holiday season is a season of giving. This past Cardinals baseball season, one young fan took the example of giving set by her favorite player, Adam Wainwright, to heart and taught us all a lesson in kindness in the process.
Adam Wainwright is an easy guy to root for. He's been an ace on the mound at every age.
He is 18 days away from his 40th birthday.
And gives back through his charity, Big League Impact. He also happens to be 9-year-old Emery Ernst's favorite player, which is a pretty big deal too.
He's an awesome pitcher. I love to play pranks, and he seems like he would love to play pranks, so he'd be like a really good person to play pranks with.
Emery is part of a house divided in Geneva, Illinois. Half Cardinals fans, half Cubs fans. The Cardinals fans in the family took a trip to St. Louis and then Milwaukee during the winning streak, and Emery finally got to meet her hero.
He comes up to her and says, "Can I sign your jersey?" You know, you just don't see very many players. That's what makes him special. That's what sets him apart.
Eventually, the Ernst family's road trip took him to Wrigley Field, and that's where this story gets really special.
Emery decided she wanted to donate her allowance to Wainwright's charity, and she delivered it in person.
In our family, we say if you have more than you need, you should give generously to others who need it more than you do.
Wainwright called Emery the team's lucky charm on Twitter and shared her generosity to his thousands of followers. It's a moment the family won't forget.
He's just a special person, a very special person. And you see that through watching him on TV, you see that through all that. But then when you meet him in person, you think, oh, wow, he's even more than I thought.
And as for the on-field Cardinals, Emery has some predictions for the rest of 2021.
I think they're going to go to World Series and win win the World Series.
In St. Louis, Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Of course, the Cardinals came just a bit short of Emery's prediction this past season, but Adam Wainwright has signed up for at least one more year in 2022. He'll try to win a championship and no doubt inspire some more kids along the way. We'll be right back.
A little wardrobe change,
A little bit, and we had to get festive at least a little bit.
Some great sweaters, and there were some great plays in 2021. We'd be here all night if we wanted to recap all of them.
A lot of talent on the high school scene, but Ahmad and I did come up with a few of our favorites from high school of this past year. Ahmad, get us going first.
Man, it was hard to get it down to 2, but let's start indoors. His name is Connor Turnbull, and he's not afraid of anything. Standing at 6'10", he dunked all over Francis Howell, Sam Thompson. He brought the crowd to their feet. Turnbull is headed to Butler next season. Now let's go back outside outside. Remember the name to Ryan Martin. He's a freshman at East St. Louis, and apparently he does acrobatics in his off time. Look at this incredible play. He somehow stays up. Martin scored 14 times in his first season on varsity.
You had a couple of those at Kirkwood, right, Ahmad?
Oh, absolutely not. In my dreams, though.
Yeah. I got a pair of football plays for you, both sides of the river. Let's go to Francis Howell first. Look at that. Woo. Perfect. That's in the playoffs, too. Booker Simmons, he couldn't have thrown that ball any better, right to Jude James in the corner of the end zone. Like I said, it doesn't get any more perfect than that on the gridiron. And then, of course, we've seen this guy a lot this year. Luther Burden III, you might have heard of him. This was actually in the spring, but they should have known not to punt to him then either. So much wind, does some funky stuff with the ball. He picks it up and goes all the way to the house. High schoolers aren't supposed to move like that, Ahmad.
No,
that's why he's the best in the country. That's why he's heading to Mizzou.
Hopefully he can do that as soon as he steps on the field because their offense needs him now.
They need about 10 of him. If they could get that, that would be nice.
Corey's right about that.
What are you looking forward to in 2022?
More high school sports, COVID to get up out of here, and everything to just be normal. And the Cardinals to go to the World Series. It's been forever.
I want to stop making theoretical moves about the Cardinals and get back after the lockout where they can actually do some business.
And how about another Stanley Cup, you know, this blue sweater.
We're greedy.
Well, that will do it for 5 on Your Sidelines, the holiday edition. Check out some more top plays. We'll see you all next week.
5 on Your Sideline was sponsored by Sideline Stricker Nobi John Deere.